know you're a musician, so what type of music like do you do?
I do a lot of different styles because I play violin. So I play with a lot of different people, and I play pop music and rock music and healing. I've been working on a lot of healing music, healing frequencies, which I really love. And I find, like you said with the algorithm, it's like, that's what's strange is like some of my musician friends, I never see their posts because it's different, it is weird how the algorithm works. And I'm not sure how it affects, creators so much. I can learn, there's so much on the internet that I learn from as far as like if I'm looking for a certain style of how to play or, watching other instrumentalists play.
It's at your fingertips.
Yeah, there is just.
But like you said something interesting, I think, because you said, with creatives, I don't know how it affects them, but I was thinking when you, like maybe people, they just don't see, you say, oh, are people not interested in this aspect of me?
Yeah.
All along you think people are kind of ignoring what you're doing. You thought you posted something fantastic and they're just not seeing it.
That is funny.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Sometimes my favorite things, I'm like, wait a minute, nobody even cared about that. And it must be even harder for young people too.
Well, what you just said about nobody cares about that. So that is something that is so hard for everybody. I'm not even going to say just
for
kids,
me too.
because
yes, absolutely.
when you put something out there, you want to feel like you are validated and that and that what you put there is liked. And if you don't get any play on it, and if you don't get any responses, then you think, oh my gosh, I said the wrong thing. I'm not, it's not cool or whatever. And I think that happens to kids all the time. If their friends don't respond to what they're putting, but the flip side of it is there are, a lot of depression because of social media. And I'm not talking kids. It's like, even if I'm home on a weekend and all of a sudden I see like 3 of my friends and their husbands are out at a restaurant or they're at a concert together, I'm like, well, they didn't invite me.
Nobody invited me.
Nobody invited me.
Yeah.
And, and it's harsh. And I've even had friends over to my house where I would say, let's not post this because I don't want people to feel bad.
Right.
It's just too much in your face.
No, but that does really curb my posting because I do feel like I love my life and I have a wonderful life and I don't want to be constantly perpetuating this concept that life is always perfect because it's not. But when I feel like posting something, it's usually because I'm like, oh my God, this is so awesome, and I do live in a really beautiful place, and I go to beautiful places, and I hang out with beautiful people. So that's what makes me even post less, especially about my personal life. More just about what I'm doing, like with music, is more easy because it just seems like, well, there's a reason for that. But if I'm just constantly posting, like I'm riding my bike on the beach with my dog all the time, it just seems like not nice. I overthink things.
Yeah.
I definitely do. Yeah, it is interesting when you play a concert and you're playing and you look out and you see the cover of the phones. And now it's become the huge thing of instead of lighting the flame like we used to, it's light the light.
Put your phones in the air.
And I feel like I have a musician friend who's super solid. She really wants to do shows that are no phone shows. And I think, oh, that's a great idea. But then when I think about it, it's like at the same time, I don't want to tell people what to do. So it's that fine line of like, it would be nice if we kind of came to the conclusion that we want to be present. But with these, with all these devices, it's challenging. When you go to something, you want to take a picture, you want to take a video, I have to capture this moment.
Yeah.
Every single moment. As a comedian, like a lot of comedy clubs don't allow you to record while people are performing. And so, I don't want people performing. I want them to be engaged and like enjoying the show, like to be actually listening to me. Because believe it or not, even though you can do both at the same time, it does take attention away from the set, from people's performance. And so I'm with it, like put your phones away. But there are those times where, you know, I have a super dope set and I'm like, who got that?
Yes, totally.
And if no one has, if no one has it, I'm annoyed. And so, you know, it's that I deal with that. But like, ultimately, I think that it's important that when you pay for a concert or a show or something of that nature, a live performance, that you be present in the live performance. I mean, take a picture, get a clip or whatever, but to just constantly stand there with your phone in your hand is absolutely ridiculous.
I don't understand that. I don't know why people go to concerts and videotape the entire concert. Are they going to show all their friends, you know, oh, look at this concert.
We'll see it online.
Watch it over and over again. I don't understand it at all. I agree with you. I want to be present. Like you are there in person with this great band that you love and you spend a ton of money on a ticket.
Yes.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, I think that's the ticket. For me, my take on all of this concept of social media and the use of phones and in our constant daily life is that it would be really wonderful if we became aware of how much happier we would be if we became a little more present.
Disconnected?
And disconnected, yeah. But that's, I mean, once again, I'm coming from a perspective of feeling like I have the advantage of coming from a place where I wasn't addicted to that from a young age.
Right.
And I mean, I had tons of my own issues, and I, did whatever, but that wasn't one of them. So it's been very beneficial for me not to feel like I have to always have my phone or use my phone or tape. But I see it with my friends, and I understand it's really a compulsion. And I think it takes away from our happiness.
Absolutely. You have to disconnect to reconnect.
Yeah. I think that music is something that's always been this wonderful connecting source, that we go to music together, we listen to music together, and it's just another one of those things that's become, I see it walking around with the headphones with the, I mean, we had, we had the Walkmans back in our day, and I did love, I loved listening to my music. But things have really changed as far as how we perform and how we go see shows. And I mean, do your kids, what kind of music do your kids like?
I mean, my kids like pop. And
yeah.
Country, but they what's so different for them versus me, I mean, when I was in high school, I would go to the record store and flip through the aisles and alphabetically and find the album I wanted, or the what was the small one called,
45.
The 45. And then it turned into cassettes, and then it was CDs,
right.
And my kids don't know what a Walkman is, and they are streaming their music, and I don't know what that is. And all of a sudden I get charges for, these music streaming channels on my credit card. Wow. And music's changed so much from when I was a kid. And, I knew who the big bands were, and, I would go to the big concerts and, the big names. And my kids go to concerts with people that I've never heard of them. I mean, there are so many more choices for them. My one daughter she could go to 5 concerts in a week. Wow. And, she loves live music. And literally, I've never heard of any of the people that she's going to listen to anymore. I feel so out of it when it comes to music. There's big music festivals now, and my daughters like to go to them, where there's 30 or 40 musicians playing, and I could literally go through the list and say I've heard of 3 of them. It's really crazy. Like you were saying, it's just so much easier to get out there now. There's not the gatekeepers. If you want to be a musician, you throw it out there, and you're a musician. If you get a big enough following, you're a musician.
Now, whether you're good or not, that's to be debated, right? But if you get a big enough following.
Yeah, and you can have on certain streaming platforms, if you have a catchy little song, all of a sudden you get a record deal.
Yeah.
You're a star.
for
Yeah.
like a very short little piece of a song.
Yeah, I think that the quality of music is compromised because it all comes out so fast, and not for everyone, but I just think overall it all comes out so fast. We don't live with it very long, and then it just disappears, right? It's just like it has to be so major to make an impression and like stick around for a while. I find myself like, I listen to some not even CDs. I listen to, what do you call it? Some albums, what do you call it? I listen maybe once, and I never return to it. And I'm talking even some of the biggest artists in the world.
I mean, I think that it's also, yes, because it's so much, everybody wants, it's like everybody wants to be an influencer, everybody wants to be a rock star. There's a lot fewer percentage of, I guess it's hard to make money with music, even though it looks so enticing. You can have a hit record and still not make a lot of money.
Wow.
So you really have to tour. So that's why there's so many bands out there playing live.
Yeah.
Because playing live is really the way to make
The only way to make money.
and selling merchandise. And then having a market, marketing yourself as an influencer. So it's just,
It seems harder.
Well, if you're a musician and you have any kind of success, then it's easier to be an influencer.
It used to be like bands would practice and there would be the drummer and the guitar and the bass and all that. And
we
now
go into a studio
and
get
it's all
together, right?
computerized now. Can't
It
you
depends
just
on what bands.
Yeah.
But yes, but
I
it's
mean, there's a
all,
lot of that.
there's always been that in a sense. Not always, but probably in, the 80s where they were,
Oh.
making bands. They started, putting bands together and just giving them music and So it's definitely, well, now with you can do it, the AI can
Everything
basically
yourself.
make a track for you
Yeah.
and make your voice sound amazing.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah.
Once again, I feel like it's a double-edged sword. It has good and it has bad, because you can use it as a tool, or you can use it to create something that is lifeless, and then I feel like it's not gonna. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it has much.
I saw something online where a lady is saying, "Oh, so now with AI, your favorite movie The Lord of the Rings, it can go on now." And I'm like,
Oh, wow.
why does it need to go on when you could just create something new?
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like confused at people that promote this like necessity for AI. Like, we really have to have 7 different endings to your favorite, to The Sopranos. Like, really? You have to see it 7 different ways? The way it ends is the way it ends.
Yeah, I've never
I
even
mean,
heard.
AI takes away individual creativity. I think there is a place for it for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I know in medical technology they're using AI, and I think that that's fantastic. And there's definitely fields it's great,
Yeah.
but it takes away your creativity, and I'm guilty of using it. I have to give speeches in my field of work, and sometimes I go into my AI apps and get help. On writing something. It gives me a base, but it's not. It doesn't give you the heart
soul.
and the soul
Yeah.
of what you want to say. Maybe it helps you out. And I know I heard that a lot of students are using AI to create their term papers or their book reports or whatever. So they're losing their ability to have
To be critical
thinking.
thinker. Yeah.
Exactly.
But I think about all of the writers and the people that have invested time and went to school, let's say, and these writers, and then they come out and then we're regurgitating something from 20 years ago that takes very little creativity to produce or to dish out. And so I think that it decreases the human value in entertainment. It's like entertainment, we don't really need you guys to entertain you.
Yeah.
We can do it from servers or whatever, and so then your script writers, your movie writers, your television writers, your music writers, What happens to the people
consumerism.
that do those things, though?
It's consumerism. It's you produce what I think. If I'm going to put money into you, I want you to do something that I know is going to be big.
Yeah.
And what happened before was big, and we're going to keep doing that until we're totally sick of it, and then maybe we'll move on.
I feel like we're chasing our tail because
We are in a lot of ways, but look at our culture. I mean, we have this art and our society and our pop culture is reflective of our emotional spirit, and we have a real problem right now with mental health and a lot of
absolutely.
issues and getting along and being disconnected, and all these things come back to the excessive use of things like social media.
Absolutely. And I think that we live in an age now that we have so much coming at us at all times. It's even more important to be able to take that space and just be.
Yeah.
And be present.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's very common. Like, I don't think a lot of people even know the concept of just being,
Yeah.
to be still, to be quiet, like you said, not to have to listen or watch or shop or do all these various things. We just don't instill that.
Yeah.
And so we have, like you said, mental health issues in our society, but we have a bunch of people with angst. They always have to be doing something. The energy is
yeah.
always, and it's really a drain. Like, and people are come and go, and have like no real impact on the world or no real valued life. It's just like
It's flying
Yeah.
by. You don't have any time
Constantly.
to notice what's
if you
happening.
don't stop, if you don't know, if you don't
Yeah.
take the time to figure that out or have these type of conversations, then you're just lost in the wind. So I'm so grateful for this opportunity to talk to you
Yay.
and to you, because that gives me a level of mindfulness, I think.
Yeah.
I think that could be, it's so beneficial to start young and start with the kids to, realize that like space and just moving our bodies and not, constantly looking outside of ourselves for entertainment and
Yeah.
answers and
Yeah, limiting their screen time and
Yeah.
encouraging them to go outside,
Go outside,
and
go
play.
hug a tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
We kind of talked before about how people, bullies from behind screen society has become so much more, a lot more people I think are introverted.
And we've become so attached to our ideas that we don't want to be open. I think that's one of the things that I've noticed with my parents aging. They had nothing to do with social media, but they were very stuck in a way of thinking, and I think that that's happening now with, people are picking a side and they don't want to know anything about anything else. This is the way it is. And I feel like that rigidity is unfortunate for growth of our, for having a positive situation.
I can absolutely make social media a positive spin on society because I'm in the nonprofit space. I do fundraising
Yeah.
for a living. And I work with organizations who are small organizations that normally wouldn't be out there in the public, but because we have social media, I can post about what our nonprofit is doing and what our charity is raising money for, and that can get shared and shared and shared. And I've seen in the last 10 years the growth of our organization growing financially because we are out there on social media.
Right.
And I think that even products are that way, and companies can advertise free advertising for their
that is
products.
good.
I
Yeah.
can't tell you how many times I wake up in the morning and I go into my feed and I've probably bought $100 worth of stuff before I get out of bed.
What?
Yeah. I am very easily influenced by ads on social media.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah, well, people are so much more comfortable with spilling the beans today, I think, and sharing, whatever it is, because, like, as a Black lesbian, I found it quite challenging. I was in the closet for a long time. I didn't even want to admit that I was a lesbian. It was like, what? That's corny. Who wants to be gay? Like, please. Meanwhile, I'm looking at a girl like with the side eye, like, oh, she's cute internally, right? Not being able to. So I was in the closet for a long, long time, and even with social media, I think it's helped me be more comfortable in my skin. Because I look at all these kids that are so comfortable in their skin, and what I get confused is like everybody gets so hung up on that this has to be a permanent decision. Now, if you have surgery and things of that nature, but sometimes people just feel a certain way in certain periods of their life, and they should be.
True.
They should have the freedom to express it. Now, do I think that little kids should, we see a lot of little kids who are choosing their identity. Do I think they should have a sex change, an actual operation? I mean, my own personal opinion is no, but that's just my own personal opinion. But if you want to be expressive, I see the kids today are so expressive and so comfortable in their skin. Of course, we have that, like you talk about the other end of the stick where people are not so comfortable and right now hiding behind. But I think that social media has opened up a door for people to express themselves and to share the so many different variances of who people could be.
Yeah, and feel accepted.
And feel accepted because there's someone out there who can relate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So for me personally, social media has, in that aspect of me being comfortable in my skin and being able to say out loud that I'm a lesbian, you know what I mean?
We're so bright and happy saying that. I love that.
Yeah, I told God recently, hey, bro, I'm a lesbian. Where's my boo? Because I'm still single. But today I have to get online. I have to be open to, the online apps and the dating apps, and I don't personally like them, but I have to still check in. Because if somebody sends a heart, I'm on it like, hey, is that for me?
So you credit social media for being able to open up to the world about you? I don't credit social media with being able to open up to the world about me. I credit social media with providing a space where I'm comfortable in sharing that with not only my personal family, like my friends and family, but with the world, with the world now. So I'm comfortable with sharing it with the world. There was a point in time 20 years ago, I was not. And I didn't share that. I didn't identify, you know what I mean? I still wore skirts and I tried to hide. I was essentially in a closet. Yeah, so I'm full swing out of the closet right now, baby. And I think that social media has helped support that. Yeah, because on the one hand, the world is so open to everybody being expressive, and it's all right to be gay, and it's all right to, you know what I mean? But there's a thin line with that, because on the other hand, the world has become so very sensitive, I think, over the last 20 years, where people are sensitive about everything: politics, religion, sexuality, fashion, gender, weight, food. It's everything. I think that the world and to be a stand-up live performing comedian, I have to be mindful of that and be able to read the room instantly.
We identify with things, whatever it is that we are, politics or gender, or I am this or I am that. And then when somebody insults that thing, but it's not insulting or talks about it in a way that maybe I don't like, it's a personal attack when it wasn't intended in that at all.
I can't imagine what the world is going to be like in 20 years, but listening to you, you've given me hope. And the generation, my kids and their friends, they talk about how they don't even want to possibly have children because they don't want to bring children into this world.
I can understand that.
And that's really sad to me. I just hope that it's our generation now, us in our late 40s and 50s who are running the world, and we have to make sure that we have given our children and their children opportunity to have a good life.
And enjoy this earth.
And enjoy it, yeah.
Yes, enjoy our moments, yeah.
I'm excited to see where it all goes. I agree that, because I don't think that we've had so much technology prior to the last 20 years, like the move so fast in 20 years, what's occurred. So I'm interested to see or excited to see and to be a part, an active part of the next 20 years, and just to see how fast things go, and to see how it's going to help us live good lives. I'm always looking for the good in things as well. So like you talk about different dimensions on earth and so forth. And so I believe that if my mental is in a certain state, then I'll be in a certain dimension and enjoy life. And that's what I look forward to doing in the next 20 years. Yeah, man.
Hey.
So toast to the future.
Yes.
Toast to the next 20 years.
Yeah.
Cheers. Yeah.
Very
Got 20
bright.
more.
Yay.